Basement Bookers Podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Basement Bookers Podcast. I'm Basement Jer, and this is Rich the Riz. And today we have a good show for you today. Isn't that right, Rich?
That's right. We just watched Collision. We wanted to make sure we watched the premiere episode of Collision before we recorded, just in case anything big or major, groundbreaking, historic happened. We'll get to it. And we are going to cover the latest edition of the Bloodline storyline. So that's what we got.
It's almost 11 o'clock on a Saturday, and I regret everything.
So let's jump straight into Collision. It was a bit messy. We had announcers calling people the wrong name. Buddy Murphy in particular. Buddy Matthews, Buddy Murphy. There was that. But the big thing, the big story that people thought would be a story was CM Punk. What is he gonna say? What did he say? Not a lot. Well, he actually said a lot. He made a lot of allusions to things, but nothing groundbreaking, nothing major, no work, shoot, no shoot, all work. Don't care.
Here, the problem is that I don't think people understand that CM Punk is one of those things. He's like War Games of the modern era. He's like those hardcore matches being done in the modern era with all the blood and all the guts and stuff. It's of the time. It's over. The pipe bomb was years ago. He's just not. I'm sitting there and it's like everybody does this now. And maybe, okay, great. You did it. You're the pioneer. It kind of feels like he's a parody of CM Punk now. You know what I mean? It's like, it's going to be a lot of people in the comments crapping on me. A lot of people who really like CM Punk. I used to like CM Punk. I'm not going to lie and say I didn't. But like I said, it was at the time. He's like speaking truth to power, and it's like everybody's speaking bullshit to power these days. Like that, it's meaningless. What was he? What did he keep repeating? Tell me the lie or whatever. Like,
tell me when I'm telling lies.
Tell me when I'm telling lies. Okay, is whenever you open your mouth. Like. If I wasn't beaten, then you're not going to get what's in this sack, which is probably a replica AEW shop belt.
Yeah, which he obviously didn't have permission to actually show on TV.
Yeah. At first, because I missed it, and I'm like, oh, he's probably got like a new belt he's going to introduce, the CM Punk ass championship or some such. And it turned out to be nothing. I have to bring something positive, and I don't know what to bring from it. I mean, if I didn't know that Saraya was out for undisclosed reasons, I'd say she wasn't on Collision because she was avoiding it like the plague. It felt like the best thing about it was Miro showed up, at least to me. That was something, interesting. Buddy Matthews and, Andrade did stuff, which was okay. It was fine. But overall, mid-level episode of Dynamite.
It was the entire episode. There was nothing. The only thing special was Punk's return. And what did he say? Okay, I'll give him this regarding his promo ability. It's still top tier. He can still get a crowd in the palm of his hand. He just had no substance this time around. There was nothing. He had nothing to say. What's he gonna say? He apparently doesn't even know.
You're too old to have a chip on your shoulder like that. You're older now. Like, you know what I mean? You act like you weren't, wrestle fucked in a UFC match twice. Like, you act like you're like super special, dude. And guess what? Speaking as someone who's never been special, you're not that special, dude. Like, you open the door for everybody, and that's great. But guess what? A lot of them just ran you over. Okay. And I honestly, as much as I give MJF crap, and I will, like, at least he's got a different cadence or something, but he's still shouty whatever. Like say the smart thing right.
Mm-hmm.
And there we go. That's another thing. Like basically CM Punk saying, "Yeah, well, the Smarks like me. That's
Yeah.
great." You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they didn't have CM Punk brand Kool-Aid being handed out to all the crowd over there instead of the ice cream bars and whatnot.
Well, we don't know that they didn't.
I mean, probably. I mean, I thought it was straight edge, but it's easy to be straight edge when you get high off of yourself.
Seriously, doesn't he smell his own farts to get high? Was that on our podcast that we talked about that? Was
Yeah,
that behind the scenes we talked about that?
it could be either one. It's a lot of things get discussed on this show. Specifically professional wrestling.
Allegedly smelling his farts
Yeah,
to get high.
yeah, because I don't want CM Punk because he will sue. Like
I
we
know.
know he's not above that,
I
so
know.
we can't. We got to do allegedly, and because help, help, help. He's being oppressed with his
Mm-hmm.
billions of dollars or whatever the hell it is.
And then
Uh,
he'll get injured, leave for however many months, and then come back with a chip on his shoulder and give another crappy promo.
I was watching him and closely, and I'm like, is this gonna be when he hurts himself? Is this gonna be? I hope he's
Yeah.
careful here. Be careful there, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
And you would think, and now I'm not gonna body shame, obviously, because I've never been a professional wrestler. I'll never be a professional wrestler. But all that time away, you think, he'd like exercise or something. I mean, I saw video, but he looks the same. I don't know. Maybe I don't pay attention that hard or whatever, but it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe ring rust is a thing, obviously, but everybody else in there was just great. I guess FTR. I feel like they're good guys. They're gonna toe the line, be good guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I just hope that they don't catch CM Punk. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like you got his logo on your tights. Are you a tag team now? What's going on here? And does he own you? Is that the stamp of approval right there? Like
CMFTR.
I thought you guys were top guys, but you're more like bottom guys.
Hey now. I hope that CMFTR is not a permanent thing. I hope they don't try to go for the trios titles, either ROH or AEW. Only because just FTR is just so good. Okay, I am still a big CM Punk fan, but he's just not giving me anything to work with. He's not giving me anything for me to really sink my teeth into. His in-ring work is still good. Obviously, it was a trios match, probably for a reason, to hide some of the ring rust, maybe hide some not so great cardio coming back from injury, and it's
Or to
okay.
get CM Punk in the ring with Jay White and Samoa Joe.
Right.
At the same time.
Yeah. And like going into it, like Punk and Joe, if you watch Ring of Honor, I did not really watch Ring of Honor, to be honest. But I know the history that, like even before they mentioned, I know they had a classic 3-match series. Punk and Joe were the definition of Ring of Honor guys back in the day. Eventually, they both made their way to TNA. I don't know if they actually crossed paths in TNA when they were there, but regardless of that, I said Punk and Joe in the ring together will be great. But the fact it's a trios match, But then I started thinking, oh, Punk and Jay White, that could be a cool mesh of styles. I'd like to see Punk and Jay White in a singles match together.
Yeah, I'd like to see them in a singles match where CM Punk isn't so old. He feels
if I
old.
could turn back time.
He should have stayed with Vince. He shouldn't have left. He should have not been a baby about it. Honestly, I wonder if he thinks about that too.
But his Z-Pack.
Yeah, I know. Wow, that's crazy. It's like we've watched wrestling for years, and you hear stories about like wrestlers getting hurt and wrestling hurt, and Finn Balor up until recently has been doing stuff like wrestling hurt, for like weeks at a time, finishes his match hurt, and he's not the champion.
Right.
and CM Punk was the champion, and I was all aboard. Like you go back, I was like, yeah, he was hurt, and he's right, and all this and that, and it's like, well, I guess in hindsight, seeing how much tougher everybody else is, and I don't think Finn Balor is making as nearly as much money as CM Punk was at the height of his popularity. So there you are.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, other stuff on Collision that wasn't really worth talking about. So Andrade won with the figure eight. That was cool. Little nod to wifey, right?
Yeah, she sucks, but that's good that he doesn't suck. So, he's a great guy, great
I, I
wrestler.
I honestly think that's the perfect segue.
Okay.
We can talk briefly about the Charlotte Bianca situation. I
We can just see how Bianca had decided to have a cookout and on the Grayson Waller effect.
mm-hmm.
Don't you forget about him. Luchasaurus. He's the TNT champ. Christian hit Wardlow with the camera. And now he's got the TNT belt. He's got a pet dinosaur and it's really cool. This happened on Collision. Don't you forget about him. He's a lucha champ.
Cookout. I see what you did there because Bianca absolutely roasted Charlotte on the Grayson Waller effect this week.
That's right, Richard Riz. Let's set the scene. Okay, so despite popular demand or whatever, I know this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but Grayson Waller was pretty shit in that exchange. Him and Charlotte, there was zero chemistry there. He was just like a mark in shape. I felt like he won a contest. They called out his seat numbers. Like, all right, you get to host the Waller effect, and we're gonna CG Waller onto your face, young sir, and you're
Here,
gonna
wear
do
this green
this.
suit.
Yeah, you like Charlotte, right? Okay, so just be a mark. Oh
Hmm.
my God, my phone is taking dictation of everything I said, so I'm gonna read it.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna read it back to y'all. It felt like he won a contest. They called out his seat numbers. Like I get to host the Wall or effect, and I was gonna see G Waller onto your email, onto your face, young sir, and you're gonna do this. Yeah, you like Charlotte, right? Okay, so just give me a mark. Oh my, and that's
If you read that in a completely different tone, that's like a weird porn script.
yeah. Do with that what you will. Credit the Basement Bookers podcast or whatever. So yeah. Okay, so basically, Charlotte, Charlotte's all over the place. Yeah, my favorite part of this promo was when Charlotte came out and she says it was Charlotting time, and she Charlotted all over the fucking mat. So here we go. We're gonna listen here. Let's see what Charlotte Flair has to say. She said some stuff before this, but for sanity's sake and not getting struck, let's see.
And ends with me.
The line starts and ends with her. She says,
Don't know why, but okay.
Yes, I lost to Rhea at WrestleMania, and I didn't get a rematch.
"Yeah, because you disappeared." So and that's gonna be addressed.
And also, why doesn't she go for Rhea's title?
Well, you see, Rich Torres, Charlotte Flair was drafted to SmackDown, and there's a draft sometimes. Sometimes it's there.
So aren't we both owed a rematch?
Now, in Charlotte world, this is logical, but we don't all live in Charlotte world, do we?
Nope.
All right, so let's see what Bianca has to say in retaliation to this.
You know what? Okay, but you know what, Charlotte? I tried to do it the right way. See, I got defeated, and I stayed. And I tried to do it the right way. So I'm just not really understanding. I mean, I didn't go away and hide for 3 months, but I guess that doesn't count for anything. I mean, maybe I should just take things into my own hands too.
It's a good point here. Touching on the fact that what's good for the goose is good for the gander here. Maybe
Mhm.
she's going to do what she wants to do since everybody else, especially Charlotte, thinks she can do whatever she wants.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on a second. Hold on. You think I ran away? I might have stepped away, but I didn't run away. And if anyone knows anything about defeat, I've beaten the best, I've lost to the best, but I've picked myself up every single time, 14 times.
Okay, so you lost the championship 14 times. Congratulations. Of course, we know this will be touched on, but just so you all know, straight from the horse's mouth, she said it. She decided to expose her belly, and now we'll just hear the rest, I guess. That face Bianca just made is like, okay, I got you now.
Mm-hmm.
I am a champion with or without the title. Are you a champion with or without the title?
I would say yes. She proved that on her road to getting the belt back in the first place, as far as I'm concerned.
And she makes all her own gear. What does Charlotte make?
Money, if you were to ask her.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
First of all, I am the longest reigning women's champion of this modern era. And you know what else? I didn't have to do it 14 times, so put some respect on my name.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
She could have just dropped it there.
You can stand in here and say whatever it is to make yourself feel better. You can sit here and talk about all the things you've done. I can talk about all the things I've done, but the past is the past.
Well, you see, past is the past. And she's got a point. It's like, what have you done lately? You know?
Mm-hmm.
The future is that since I didn't get my rematch, you best believe I'm going to be standing ringside for your title match with Asuka. Because I am done being patient. I am done playing with y'all. And no matter who wins, I'm going to step in that ring and face them face to face. And I'm going to call my shot. Because that title is coming back to me.
All right. And then the music hits, and she's off to the back. Okay, thoughts and feelings on that one there. You can go first since I did all that.
I'm digging getting more personality out of Bianca other than just the white meat babyface that she was. Now she's getting a little dirty with it, right? She's like, "All right, you're skipping the line. I'm gonna do what I gotta do." I like it.
I think
show more personality. Good.
It's fire. You know, it's bringing out like a fire. And then I don't remember the last time anybody just made Charlotte shut up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because either she's just finally figured out that people don't like that stuff when she does that and tries to like cut people off and all that stuff and not take things seriously, that lackadaisical Charlotte Flair promo style.
Mm-hmm.
And Bianca shut her down.
Mm-hmm.
And with facts. And it's like, and I've always said it's like, man, you know, Flair 16 times, but like he did that over a course of years, like more and territories. And it's likely, if you even talk to him, more than 16 times. We just decided we're going to settle on that number.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, every time it's like the numbers. Okay, yeah, well, you got beat for that championship that many times. Like, how you could barely hold on to it.
Mm-hmm.
You keep bragging about that, but it doesn't mean anything. You're not a fighter like Bianca Belair who can hold on to it for that long.
Yeah. Charlotte definitely lost 14 times in a much shorter span than than Rick lost it 16 times.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that what we've seen recently with championships being held as long as they have is that matters more. and everybody sees that because then it's special when the person loses the championship. Now, does this mean Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair at SummerSlam? Probably. I think that's where it goes. Unfortunately for myself, my pick for Money in the Bank is not in Money in the Bank anymore. So that's that. We don't have Io Sky in Money in the Bank because of stupid Bailey. So, and we might not have stupid Bailey at Money in the Bank. We might waste a spot on Shotzi. So we'll see what happens there. And no, that's not that I am a Shotzi fan. I'm just saying they're not going to let her grab the championship.
No, I know.
The Money in the Bank
I know.
briefcase.
It just hurts to hear.
Yeah, I can't you got to be real.
Mhm.
And Trish
But
Stratus
she's
is probably going to be in it.
yeah, but she's a
Unless
psycho. Sorry.
Yeah, well, you know what? You're right. She is a
Mhm.
psycho, and we could probably get. Oh, you know what? Maybe Trish will get in, and if Trish doesn't get in, she might screw Becky out of it. There's too much of this whole Becky's never won it before, and it's like I don't know. I'll
Mhm.
probably still pick her, but I don't think she's gonna win it. I don't know. I honestly don't know now because I thought it would be Io. My plan was for Io Sky to cash in because for some reason the Money in the Bank women's winner can't wait. Like they always go. They just go. It's gone.
Yeah. I think it'll be Becky, and I think she'll wait.
Yeah, probably.
Carmella
Maybe.
held it for a little bit,
Yeah, the
but that
first
was so
one,
long
but
ago.
after yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the first one, but after that, it's
Mhm.
been of course, Asuka. That's a different case because Becky got knocked up.
Right.
Alrighty. Okay, so that was the Bianca Belair, scorched on Charlotte. What else do you want to do? Are we just ready to do the Bloodline thing, or
Yeah. Nothing else major.
okay? So, in this scene, we can't really do a lot, so we're just gonna go off of memory. So basically, I don't know. I think here, Roman's like, "Hey, you're the wise man. Go get BJ."
Hmm. It was
All right.
like Roman asks Heyman if he reached out to Jey Uso or if he heard from Jey Uso. He's like, "No, my tribal chief." And Roman's like, "Have you heard from Jey Uso?" "No, my tribal chief." Okay. The tribal chief doesn't reach out to people. People reach out to the tribal chief. Wise man, you, on my behest, go reach out to Jey Uso. Now.
That's the actually the more polite version. That's actually exactly what he said verbatim. So it's good. We don't have to play it.
Nice.
And then like right before here though, well after that, like Solo was gonna
Mhm.
go after Paul Heyman, and Roman's like, "Hey man," and he's like, "Yes, my tribal chief." You know.
Mhm.
Okay, so here we have the wise man trying to convince Jay. He's
Mhm.
like, Jay, I'm gonna need you to, I'm sorry about last week or whatever, that you're not the United States champion. And, it's all Jimmy's fault, obviously. So
Mhm.
why don't you, he's like, I'll think about it. But remember, if I'm in, you out. So mainly, I'm like trying to bank our time here so we can play the most important part.
Mhm.
So I don't really remember what happened here. Let's catch up. Let's see what happens here. Unless let's see.
This was kind of just the head shake.
I'm glad that it's quiet here now. But I'm just going to talk because the staring is uncomfortable for me. So, oh yeah, this is when it happens. But it
Mhm.
looks like Solo is about to run up on Paul Heyman,
Mhm.
and then Tribal Chief. Wow, he went fast. Yeah,
Mhm.
good.
1.5.
You need to handle this, my tribal chief. Easy.
Easy. All right. So this, I thought, was one of the best. a lot of times people say you can talk without talking.
Mhm.
Now, here's some talking without talking. As a matter of fact, I could mute this and you would still get what's happening here. So if you watch, this is Jay. You see Sami Zayn. This is for the audio listener. Sami looks at Jay. Jay looks at Sami. Sami stands up. He looks like a guy that's like he knows what Jay's going to do.
Mhm.
And Jay's like, okay. And then there he goes, Mr. Crop Top Uso. So, unmute. And the Tribal Chief, he's got something to say.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. He says to acknowledge him, and they did. So, it's because Fox is really sketch. Yeah. And then out comes Jimmy J, Jey Uso.
Mhm.
Well, in this shot, he looks like he's got a lot on his mind. Maybe something in his teeth that he needs to get out. He had a mango before he came out. So now, Jay's looking around, taking in the crowd. What's he gonna say? It's Roman looking around. Okay, here we go. And Jey Uso's got something to say.
Or it's me.
So he just said, "It's the wise man, or it's me."
Mhm.
All right, listen. When you're tribal chief, you can pick anyone you want to be your wise man. This is my wise man. He's not the Bloodline's wise man. He's not Jay's wise man. He's not Jimmy's wise. No, he's my wise man.
Roman Reigns, stating fact that that is his property. When you're the tribal chief, you get to pick your own wise man. Maybe you pick Sami Zayn.
He's here to help me as I lead. That's what you don't understand. I was only meant to get us to the promised land. You're meant to keep us here.
What do you mean by that? Are you saying, is the tribal chief saying that Jey Uso's in charge of his security detail and helping the tribal chief retain the championships? Is that what that's about? What does that mean? Stay there, exactly. What does that mean?
You understand? You're meant to keep us here. You're meant to keep us at the top of the mountain. Wise man said that we start.
This is what I wanted to mention.
Mhm.
Kentucky,
Mhm.
GFY, okay? Because you don't do what chants during Bloodline segments.
Mhm.
Save that for, Dominic
Brooke.
Mysterio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grooming you, but no. We've been grooming you for over 3 years now. 3 years now of hard work and equity into you. Why do you think you're the right-hand man? Why do you think we put you in a position to become the main event? Jey Uso!
Hard work and equity. Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Because you're meant to lead. Just not yet.
It's not your time, Jey Uso. Maybe one day.
So the problem isn't the wise man, and I told you this before, the problem is your brother. I know.
Here he goes. Manipulating.
Mhm.
I've been with you my whole lives. You're inseparable. That's what it.
He's been with them his whole lives. The tribal chief has had many lives. They've all had many lives, I guess, lives in school and football team and lives and putting together furniture at the office.
It is your twins, but you have to understand. Yo.
That was Jimmy Uso for the audio listener. It was definitely not Jay doing throwing his voice. They do distinctly sound different.
Mhm.
The problem is not your brother, Jay. The problem is our cousin. Yeah, let's get right to it. Oos.
Oh,
You say
yeah,
you're a leader,
Oos.
and you say he's grooming you, but in reality, he's using you, bruh. Yeah. Look at me. You actually believe this garbage that is coming out of his mouth?
Hot garbage, he's saying. He's saying he's lying. Tribal Chief doesn't lie.
Look at me,
Talking
Uso.
about.
You believe this? Over me?
Again, Jimmy trying to get to Jay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's take a second because there's an elephant in this room. There's two elephants in this room. Technically, there's three elephants in this room, but only one of them is an active elephant in this room. As you can see, the Tribal Chief is holding the undisputed Universal WWE Championship, the undisputed WWE Universal Championship.
Mm-hmm.
A wise man, we still have the WWE Championship
Mm-hmm.
and the Universal Championship,
Mm-hmm.
to which some folks don't like. I don't mind it. To me, it reminds me of boxing. You know how like the manager holds belts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The WWE Championship represents the lineage, and next week, the Tribal Chief will be surpassing Pedro Morales and longest reigning WWE champion. And the Universal Championship, it represents the fact that under being with Roman being the Universal Champion as long as he has, I would say elevated above the WWE Championship. Because if you look at the WWE Championship when it was on, Raw, and the people that held it, so it's I feel like Roman did more for the Universal Championship than the folks holding the WWE Championship did for it before it got to Roman. I think is what I'm trying to say. So, unless it was Brock Lesnar. If it's not Brock Lesnar, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. To me, I think like I don't mind the belts being there, right? But to a new viewer, right? Which any episode could be someone's first, right? And like, oh, they're all into this storyline. Like even if you started watching like a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago, earlier in the storyline, and you're like, all right, so that's the belt, but what are the other two belts? And then whoever introduced them to the wrestling, like, well, the gold belt is the other two belts. The other two belts are just more symbolic, but isn't the belt symbolic anyway? Yeah. So it gets a little convoluted, and like I said, I don't mind it for their own sake of simplicity. I hope that they get them off TV soon.
I think you'll see them until Roman loses the belt. Like once Roman Reigns loses the championship, they're gonna retire. Yeah, I mean,
Do you
when
think
Roman,
Roman's gonna lose the titles?
yeah, when he leaves. So when he
Oh,
leaves, he's gonna
okay.
take the Universal Championship with him.
Okay.
Like he can't like really take the belt with him. Like he'd have to like
Mm.
leave
He leaves the
it.
gold belt and takes the blue and black.
Yeah, that's that's whatever. He can have it. You know what I mean? That's his. No one's beating him for him. Why you know what I'm saying? Like if no one's beating him for them, why should he give them back? Like I don't understand that.
Mhm.
Like that's what I think. It's a little bit different. Like it's not like the Seth Rollins championship. That thing just made up. Just came out of thin air.
Title.
Yeah, it's like, oh, hey, here you go, buddy.
Mhm.
Those he was never beaten for those. So I think should be taken into account that he was never
Mhm.
beaten for them. Yeah. The fans chanting Uso.
Listen to them. They weren't doing this 10 years ago. Hell, it took 10 years just to get y'all in WrestleMania.
Oh my God. Yeah, he's right though.
Truth
So,
hurts.
yeah, truth hurts, man.
And since you've been with me, you main evented every single one. He's an anchor. I'm the
Okay.
wings. I lift you up, he drags you down. You have a great future in front of you. I told you. You're the next in line. You're the successor. You're the next tribal chief. And guess what? You can't be a tribal chief and a twin at the same time.
I mean, you can. I mean, there's nowhere. I don't. Maybe because he doesn't have a twin. Maybe he doesn't get it. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, while I'm still here on the island, I'm going to see if I can get a look at the sacred texts to see. Not that I don't believe my tribal chief, but I would like to verify the interpretation of the sacred texts.
I feel like sacred texts have a lot of interpretations. So you're right on there. You're somewhere with that. Maybe a language barrier because it's in Aramaic or some shit.
Let him plead to you. Let him beg you. Let him give you that brother love. But
Samoan.
Hey, I could put on a mask too. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is, actually, wise man.
Did he? Yeah,
Always
he did.
happy to help.
Yeah.
When we named Jay the right-hand man, who was the only one that had a problem with it?
So Paul Heyman's like, do I have to say it? Really? But all right.
It wasn't the wise man. It was his suggestion.
You know, Jimmy's like, yeah, you know, I did say that. I can't say I didn't say that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of silence here. This is
A lot of head
definitely coming out.
hanging by Jimmy.
That's right. Real hang dog situation. Here we
Is that
go.
true? Wait a minute.
A lot of pacing there.
So this whole damn time, you've been doubting me?
Oh my
You've been doubting me?
God.
No.
No.
I expect that from him, but not you. Hey, let me guess. Because you know what's best for both of us, right? Big brother, right? Listen to your older brother, Joshua. That's your older brother, Joshua.
So now
Using the
we're
American names again.
We're using American names. We're using citizenship names over here. And you think, wow, I can't believe this is headed this way. But sometimes fate has other plans for us.
That's all I heard growing up. You with me? Hey, you know what? Me and you been competing against him. When in all reality, I've been trying to keep up with your ass.
Lure him into false sense of security.
Mr. Prom Prince right here. Mr. Prom King right here. Mr. Player of the Year. Mr. Most Likely to Succeed, huh? Yeah.
Really?
Hey, guess what? A blessing happened in disguise. You got hurt, I stepped up. I made it in Smackdown. I made it in pay-per-views. I made it in WrestleMania. You know why? They know us now. I'm the right-hand man, main event Jey Uso, and it's all because of him. So guess what? You out.
You out.
And I'm out too. Oh my God!
And the tribal chief is super kicked by Jey Uso. Solo Sikoa. It was almost like the movie The Flash. He was just so slow to act. He just can't believe it.
Yet another super kick heard round the world.
You know, Paul Heyman did say that Jimmy Uso has the most precise kick next to Jay's. So it was definitely on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
2 kicks from the brothers. Then you think, this is it, right? And Heyman just scurries like the cockroach he is. Roman's beside himself. He's feeling his face. He's just pounding. You don't leave me. He's really upset. Oh, my goodness. And that is it. The bloodline is done as we know it. Reference to Julius Caesar there, you know. Okay. Thoughts?
Rough day on the island of relevancy.
Yeah.
It smells like a cookout going on the other side of the island, but it doesn't smell like the meat they're typically cooking, so I don't want to ask what they're cooking, or if it is cooking, or what. A lot of turmoil, a lot of tumult, a lot of shouting. Tribal Chief is not happy.
Do we have like any other like Samoans in NXT that could possibly like come up at Money in the Bank where we're having the Bloodline Civil War?
Another brother just started training in NXT.
It's too early.
Yeah, I believe it's too early. There are a pair of Tongan twins starting at.
Is it Rikishi School?
I think it's Rikishi School. I don't remember their names, but they're female twins from Tonga, which is there's some overlap, right? Like Jimmy Snuka is like distantly related to the Bloodline, and Jimmy Snuka was from Tonga, so there's some overlap.
Well, I don't know. I think it's the end of the Bloodline as we know what they say. So it's like, is there no Bloodline? Is it just Roman Reigns? And Solo? But like, they're having a Bloodline Civil War. They're all Bloodline because it wouldn't be a Civil War if the Usos weren't the Bloodline anymore.
Right.
Doesn't, you know what I mean? That doesn't track. So
there is another cousin in New Japan. I do not know whether or not his contract has come up yet.
Oh, well, that remains to be seen. We're all excited for Money in the Bank Civil War, whatever. Probably the main event. I don't see why not. And little by little, we are seeing the Cody Rhodes prophecy come true. You know, that no Jimmy and no Jay. You know, soon he'll be a Roman with no Reigns. You know, it'll just be him. And then, you know, he'll be all alone. And that's when the end come. But it's not going to be anytime soon, according to many sources in wrestling. So buckle up, Buttercup, because the Tribal Chief is king.
Absolutely.
Well, that was fine, I think. Well, one last question for everybody. Logan Paul is showing up on Monday Night Raw. Will he be added to the Money in the Bank ladder match? There is rumor that perhaps another spot will be put on the line. Right now, we have Bailey putting her spot on the line against Shotzi. Who knows if a sucker gets, decides to put theirs on the line for the men, or they just add Logan Paul to the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Who has qualified for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match so far?
LA Knight, Escobar, Pete Dunne, Damian Priest, who I think he's likely to win it, seeing as Seth Rollins is wrestling Finn Balor at Money in the Bank. And with these things, it's like, all right, how about if you want to do open challenges on NXT against Braun Breaker, how about you don't set up Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank? Because you go in and it's like, okay, so Braun Breaker's doing the job. So really.
Yeah, the only way they could get away with that is if they push cards subject to change. And if on Raw, they talk about how Seth Rollins is putting it on the line and might not make it to Money in the Bank as champion. They have to put over on Raw the fact that Braun Breaker might beat Seth Rollins. Otherwise, it looks like an absolute wash. Braun Breaker will not beat Seth Rollins. Seth is just going down to NXT just to show them how it's done. He'll be back next week.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, And Dominic Mysterio versus Cody Rhodes at Money in the Bank. Well, if you think Logan Paul should be in the Money in the Bank, sound off below. And who do you think is going to win the Money in the Bank ladder match women and Money in the Bank match men's? And if you have any kind of predictions or whatever like we do, link tree is below. Comment on the YouTube or whatever. Twitter, it's all there. Thanks for everybody for listening. And Rich, help here.
Thanks for listening to this mini-sode. We'll have a full-length episode next week. FYI, going forward, we will typically be covering Collision the week after. We just really wanted to get the first episode of Collision into this episode. With that said, Joe's got a party message for you.
The match of life is scheduled for one fall, so make it count.
And do what the man says.
Follow the